You know, you hear it all the time. Do what makes you happy. Okay, go and do the things that bring happiness to your life because happiness is the only thing that matters. But what I've realized is that that could not be further from the truth. Because what actually matters is finding fulfillment and finding purpose. Because at the end of the day, happiness is simply an emotion. It's an emotion, but it's also a neurological response, okay? It's often associated with dopamine, right? When you're happy, that's when you have dopamine, right? That's when you have these endorphins pumping through your body, right? And so this is what happiness is. It is like a pure emotion, okay? And what happens is that we get it wrong a lot of the time in this society, in this day and age, that happiness is what truly matters. But instead, I've found that it's about purpose and fulfillment because happiness can be temporary. In fact, it is temporary because it is an emotion. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you might be angry, or sometimes you might feel a little bit like anxious. Okay, emotions, they come and they go. So if we're constantly seeking this happiness, it's never going to sustain us. It's never going to fulfill us. And sometimes as well, what makes us happy might actually be twisted. Because we might get happiness and we might get joy from things that aren't right, when our moral conscience may be flipped, when we get so used to doing some of the bad habits, okay, when we seek that dopamine constantly, we might think that makes us happy for 2 seconds, but then it leads to guilt and shame and a life of misery, right? So it's a slippery slope with happiness, okay? When you are in that excited state, right, when you are feeling joyous, okay, that emotion comes to you, it's an amazing emotion to feel. But seeking happiness in your life, it's not going to sustain you in any way. And instead, what I've realized that actually sustains you is finding true fulfillment and purpose. Okay? It's about going and looking to achieve those goals that you have for your life, because that has substance to it. Not just sheer happiness, but actually going and looking to find fulfillment. Okay? And the thing is as well, what makes you happy might be likes and followers, right? Because you get that dopamine rush once again, but it actually does not lead to fulfillment or contentment, which is actually where you find goodness in life. Okay, because happiness will come and go, and your life could actually be miserable. But those little bits of dopamine, those little bits of chasing happiness, often does not lead to happiness, because we chase happiness, but we never actually feel like fulfilled. We never actually feel that void. That void is never filled that we have in our minds. We're constantly seeking happiness. We're constantly seeking that extra, that more. And that is the essence of searching for happiness, but it never ever comes. And it's a constant cycle of continuing moving, like seeking it, and you're never fulfilled. You're never ever fulfilled. But this is where finding purpose and fulfillment comes in. And what I realize is that when you find purpose and fulfillment, okay, that is when your life is truly transformed. And the way to do that is to set goals, to go and seek purpose, to even go and pray to God. God is the greatest source of fulfillment you'll ever find. It's to go and seek Him, okay, pray to Him, ask God about what your purpose is in life, right? And then to go and take the actions necessary, to go and seek to achieve those goals in your life, to go and find that fulfillment and joy through enjoying the process of life and moving towards your ideal self, because that is where true fulfillment is found, not in the temporary happiness, not in the temporary emotion of happiness, not in the temporary searching for dopamine, but instead by actually going and finding fulfillment and contentment by doing things that make the world a better place, by doing things that have an impact on the world. And not only that, but doing things that make you feel good about yourself. When you go and make progress in one of your goals, whether that be in your physique, whether that be in your business, in your work, in studying, whether that be going in your music, whatever endeavor of life, whether that be in your faith, okay, that is where true fulfillment comes from, true joy comes from. That transformation, that transformative process, that journey. And not only is it about necessarily the journey, when you move towards that end goal, right, of the journey, that is when you will definitely feel positive. You definitely will feel that more of that happiness, right? But what actually happens is that you begin to enjoy the entire process. You begin to go and turn away from that temporary happiness, and instead you seek goodness through God, goodness through looking to achieve your goals, goodness and purpose and fulfillment. And that is where true joy is found. Because again, life is going to have ups and downs. Again, if you're continually seeking happiness, you go and you just feel sad in that moment. Okay, you're constantly seeking that happiness, but you're never fulfilled, you're never satisfied. Okay, that longing is never satisfied. But when you go and seek that purpose, when you go and get on that grind, right? When you go and just do things that make you a better person, that contribute positively to society, and that also allow you to move towards your ideal self and just make the world a better place and grow through God, that is where you will find like a much greater life. A life that is completely contrary to the modern day, and a life that actually provides you with unmatched fulfillment and joy whilst you're going and improving, whilst you're going and making the world a better place. And ultimately, you've just got a million different positives and a million different benefits of choosing this life. Okay, so start today. Look to go and turn away from seeking that ideal, that temporary happiness, that ideal happiness that everyone looks to seek, but there never is, right? Because at the end of the day, there never is that happiness. It never gets satisfied. But instead, look to go and find that fulfillment. And it starts with a mindset shift to start with. To shift your mindset. To shift the way you view the world. To shift the way you view happiness and fulfillment. And to instead move your mind towards that idea of seeking true fulfillment and joy. Okay, and ultimately, when you do that, when you go and take the actions, okay, begin to focus on the fulfilling things, on looking to move towards the positive habits, your ideal self, doing everything else that I've said in this video. And if you want to, look at more of that, how to improve through Christ, how to renew your life, how to go and be fulfilled and purposeful. I've got so many videos on my channel, right, to go and talk about that more in depth, right, from various different angles. So, I encourage you to go and watch some of them. So if you enjoyed this video and found something out of it, please like and subscribe so more people can see it. And thank you so much for watching, and have a truly blessed day, my friend. Amen.
Yo, I cannot fail if the Lord's with me. Same way if the Lord's with you. Exodus 14 verse 14. I need to be still when the Lord comes through. That's true. Not gonna be easy. Push through the pain like a wisdom tooth. For real. He don't leave us alone. He gave us man's the spirit of